And I believe we are live. Hello everyone, live from my living room this time instead of my closet. Welcome to Art and Think, where we make art and we think. Hi Susan! We're gonna actually do art today. So without further ado, hello, Dusk Horizon. You have so many other names all over Facebook. I don't know what to call you. Sometimes people have different usernames, like Instagram versus Facebook, and I forget what to call you, so I just call you as you are. Well, guys, it's July 1st. Half the year is over already, and what a half a year. Well, what do you want me to call you? Do you want me to call you Dusk? D? Or your other one? Dennis is fine, okay. I figured. I don't. Some people don't like being called by their actual name. You know, if I see they don't go by that anymore, I kind of assume they don't want to be referred to that. Anyways, let me pull up my my program. Alright, so we're on our Cartesian plane, and today we're gonna make... I want to make a bunch of rainbow skeletons. I think that would be really cool. I like skeletons. Let's find a skeleton. There we are. We have our basic skeleton here. Eventually, I'd like to look into maybe an upgrade of skeleton. I mean, I like this when it does the job, but even in high resolution, you still get this kind of... you see how there's like these jagged edges that kind of make it look not quite round and smooth, or as realistic as a skull. It'd be nice, like even with texture applied. Maybe I'm just not aware of settings that I can mess with, but it would be cool if this is a little bit more detailed. So let me pop back in and see what's going on. Hi, Morg. I'm glad you could come. There can be some weird thoughts today about death. I did want to talk about death, mainly because, like... I mean, I don't want to... I mean, I could just sit here and goof off, but I like to talk about something. But this is a skeleton, so I'm thinking skeletons are always associated with death. But I don't have anything to say, because we got, like, really kick-ass videos and stuff out there. On IamHyperiod.com that explains what actually happens to you when you die. So if anybody's like new to my channel, check that out. But I'm just gonna talk from, like, we already know that kind of stuff, like what happens. So I have some like really weird thoughts that are really fun. So like these thoughts and questions, they're not, I want everybody to think about these because I think it's really cool. There's not really going to be any answers right now. So you know last week how I showed you the art book about like how kind of artistically conceptualizing things can like lead to actual like discoveries and stuff, or like practical like scientific accomplishments, you know. Well, like that's how I'm kind of thinking like right now with this. Like we don't really have like the new world order established in such a way where we have a new culture surrounding death. We need to create that. So the stuff that I'm thinking about. Oh, I had notes. Where are my notes? Here are my notes. Okay. Thinking about ways we can calculate and figure out like where the monad goes and what avatar it enters back into. So I'm wondering, it's like at some point, can we get to a point where we can calculate or like figure out like okay, this person died, Aunt Margaret died. Where is Aunt Margaret going? Aunt Margaret's floating over there, and she's in that avatar. Okay, now we know where Aunt Margaret is. So that's like my first kind of intro thought to that. So let's go back to the skeleton. Our skeleton is very plain. I think we should put it in a cool pose. I think we should have more than one skeleton, but for now, let's see. There's these preset poses. Sometimes they're good by themselves. But for the most part, I just like to select one and kind of go from there, kind of manipulate it from there. So as you see, our skeleton is a little too rigid. I don't like that. Should be doing something cool. Or maybe this. My floating poses. Error. I don't think so. There we go. Now, now it looks like there's skeleton pinup. It's supposed to be floating. Okay. Wait, where's my bone tool? Okay. Yes. Oh, sassy. We're a sassy. I mean, we're a rainbow skeleton, so. What? No, no. It's a little too much. Okay. A little too sassy for me. No, it's not. What am I saying? If it's too sassy, then I want to dig into that and find out why. Why is it too sassy? Let's see that. No, that looks kind of like. That looks like a boring. That this pose looks like something you see in a science book. We just don't have like the other lesser evolved skeletons. Let's see. Going back to the float. I do want to kind of like floating, maybe like dancing a little bit, because it's a skeleton. So if like we're talking about death, it's a little bit more free. Not as confined. Oh, jeez. Now we're celebrating. Ta-da! Yes. I kind of like these poses. Kind of like the... Well, that should be... Like, if this was upside down, it would be almost like... The Hanged Man. Like that. Now we got like a hanged man type of thing going on here. That's kind of cool. I don't want to make a tarot card though. Let's see. Oh yeah, so thinking about. Let's see. Let's go over here. Let's see. Dennis says, still going hard on Reason is the New Black. Oh, thank you, Dennis. Reason is the New Black. I love and hate that song. I love it because it sounds cool. I hate it a little bit because it's kind of cheesy, but I made it and it's out, so I stand with it. I was thinking maybe we would all enjoy a remix or two. But thank you. And hello, Imaginista. And okay, so before I mention thinking about death, like, I wonder if eventually we can figure out ways to, I'm sure we can, like, to calculate, like, or figure out, like, where the monad's going. Maybe like a monad tagging system? Like, like a little clip, like, just punch a little clip on the monad and be like, alright, now we know where the monad's gonna go. No, that's not how that works. I'm trying to be, like, fun and imaginative here, so let's see. My other note is, maybe ghosts would tell us, since Jack Tanner explains that regular interaction with ghosts is possible. There's 2 books written by Jack Tanner, The Ghost Dimension and Ghosts Are Real. There's a lot of interesting information in that. I think those 2 are not necessarily my favorite, like, AC author books, but definitely up there. But I had that thought, like, what if, like, ghosts tell you, like, if that is, like, we kind of have, like, a regular interaction with ghosts, like, would they be able to help us figure out, or even, like, we'll see, like, the monad, like, ghostly monad, like, hey, I'm gonna go over here in this body now. This just seems ridiculous to me. Alright, let's go back to our skeleton. That is not the hangman. And not a pinup skeleton. I want more... I don't know, I feel... Maybe this is, like, too exposed. I think I want to submerge this. Yes. I'm losing... My voice is cracking because it's dry. Okay, submerging the skeleton. Props. Am I allowed to smoke on here? Shh. There we go. Submerging the skeleton. Okay. Oh. These poses, I swear. We're just kind of stuck with this sassy skeleton. I don't know. He's really dramatic. He, she. We can't tell. Walk like an Egyptian. Na, 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 na. Hey, yo. Oh my gosh, he's like almost dabbing. Okay. I get really... Okay. So I can throw out my program and just entertain myself for hours by this shit. Don't judge. Don't judge! I do read. I do read. Okay, let's see. Is that all the head turning room I have? If so, that is bullshit. I'm trying to make the skeleton kind of like he's got his hand up like this, like kind of doing this. I'm trying to make him sort of look. I'm thinking maybe there's light, something. There we go. Let's see what we got going on our fancy high definition view. Ooh, I like that so far. Except for, I think I want to get rid of that nasty grey in the background. There we go. That's cool. But there's one problem. Our skeleton is not rainbow! No! I just want to be dramatic. Smooth. Wait. I was gonna capture this angle, but nah. Okay, so anyways. We got our skeleton here. Let me check back in on you guys. Where are you? Where did you go? I don't know. Okay. Hi, Megan! And Imaginista. You also kind of have... Do you? I could... Okay, I had this conversation with Dennis. What do you want to be called? I can't... Sometimes I don't know if people prefer, like, being called their screen name or their real name. But anyways, Imaginista says, yes, there's streamers whose whole stream is just smoking weed. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, that's not my shtick. That's not my angle to sit here and smoke pot. But I do, you know, it is my cup of tea. That's all it is to me. I don't drink. Except for the rare shadow beer. And I'm losing all my windows. Hello, Gina. How you doing? Skulls and rainbows, two of my favorite things. Megan, you are a woman after my own heart, or a monad after my own heart. Skeletons and rainbows, man, it's where it's at. So, let's make our skeleton rainbow. Oh, yes. Rainbows. Shaders. Rainbows. Where's the rainbows? Where are they? Where is it? This one? No. This one? No. Where is it? There it is! It's not showing us. Because it's so crystally. It's weird having people here to, like, witness the crazy... Like, I'm not doing this for the camera. I sit here and make commentary. My eyeball itches. My lick ball needs scratchings. Okay. Haha. It's so crystally. I'm so like it's such a it's such a look ball pleaser to see crystally rainbow skulls. I like that. This is turning out. See, I want this to be bright and cheery. I didn't want this like. I want it to be like death, not death. So let's go back to my notes. And you guys should comment on this. Okay, so I mentioned, would we be able to eventually, of course we would, figure out where monads are going. Let's see, I mentioned maybe a monad tagging system. That'd be kind of interesting. Or like maybe ghosts would tell us or help us out there. Let's see. All I said was, I love my notes. I said LOL avatar shopping. I think the image there is just like being a floating fart of a monad and like, let's see, I want to come back into the holos through there. Or maybe through there. No, there. That just it's just a hilarious image to me. Let's see. And then I say, okay, but what if you are at the level you can choose? Oh, okay. So like, what if you're at the like you're an evolved monad and you can choose where you go, like avatar shopping. Like, if you know you're evolved enough, like, would we be able to figure that out? And then, how weird would it be that you like at the very end of your life? No, not how weird. How cool. How cool would it be, like, at the very end of your life, that you would essentially already start prepping with your future parents for your next life? Like, there's, like, it's more of, like, a process. So, like, at the very end of your days, you're working out, you know, how you're living life, how you're gonna, you know, so that you can choose, like you can plan in advance, like, strategic re-entering into the holos. We could do so many, like, cool things. And that, oh, yeah, okay, so my next note, I think, and definitely do share your thoughts and stuff about this, because this is, like, really interesting to think about, like, these sort of things about death. So when we go to our next life, is it, like, for the monads, is it, like, a first come, first serve? Like, you know, like, whatever, like, whatever monad gets there first, like, they get it. It doesn't matter how many monads want that same, like, point to like, come back in at. Would it, like, wait, where's my note? Yeah, or is there, like, a sense of politeness? It's like, no, I'm going to reincarnate there. Like, no, hold on a minute, because Larry over there called that. That, I don't know, yeah. So, like, is it first come, first serve? Like, is it pushing out of the way? Like, no, I'm gonna, like, enter there. Or is it, like, are we all, like, in agreement or something? That'd be weird. So, let's go back to our rainbow skeleton. I want to hey, I don't want to restart to stay up there. I don't want to do any of this. Ugh, rude. Okay, we got more. We have to make our skeleton rainbow in parts. And let's see, cartoon shaded. Oh, okay, cool. There's these different grades of, like, shading you can do to help you out. So we got this sort of cartoon shaded, except for I think maybe I'll yank him out of the water here for a minute to rainbow-tize his legs. Oops, wrong thing. Rainbow tires, rainbow tires. Pull that back down there. What are we doing? What are we doing there with our hand? I don't know. What's that? It's like backwards. Let's see where are you guys at? Let's see. You guys do good. Let's go back here. I feel like there's got to be something going on here. What's happening? I think there should be like lights. Maybe this is like the death current we're in right now. And your legs. And there's gonna be like light, like that's where we're gonna go into our new life. That sounds like a cool thing. I think that works. Yeah, we're in the death current right now. We are rainbow skeletons. I love this thing. Flung me in outer space. I don't know what happened there. I better save this. Just saying. Saving. Rainbow skeletons. Save. Okay. So I think, yeah, there needs to be something going on here. What do I got? I'm trying to decide if I want, like, it sort of looking at light that's really bright, or if I want, like, a small ball of light it's reaching out to. What do we want? Help me decide. Help me decide if we want it doing this to really blind light that's approaching, or if we want it reaching out to a small ball of light, or small pinpoint of light. Dun dun dun! The suspense. And while you guys decide that, let's go back over to my notes. So yes, would we create a sort of culture where you could prepare for your future life with your future parents at the end of your death? And then I mentioned, is there a first come first serve process, or is there a sense of politeness, like, hey, I called that, and everyone is okay with that? Let's see, what's my note here? That way, a monad's A monad. That way a monad's upbringing can have the new life's experiences and persona and just enough information from the old life to have a more efficient life trajectory. Let me read that again. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's like, because in your new life, when you reincarnate, I mean, you're going to have new life's experiences. You'll have a new persona. Your old one will be gone and wiped away. But, you know, I think there's some good to look into, like bringing just enough of that over into the new life to help you sort of stay on if there's like a certain, you know, thinking about, like, this is trying to think about in terms of like multiple lives, not just one. Okay, that's great. What are we going to do with this life? We'll lay out a plan, fine. But what are you going to do over the next 10 lives? Like, it would be cool for us to get to a point where there's a culture where we think like that. There's not just like a 1-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan. There's a 1 life plan, 5 life plan, 10 life plans. What am I going to do in 20 lifetimes? Where are we going to be at then? I think that's what I'm trying to get at there. So think about them apples while we get back to our crazy skeleton. Yeah. We need another skeleton. Oh, did you guys decide what we're doing with our skeleton? It's an avatar reaching out to an incoming monad. Oh. Susan says, reaching out. Or maybe it's covering its eyes because multiple monads have their monad sights set on it. Right? So many monads. I like the reaching out because it's so easy. Okay, let's go back. And that's good. I mean, I do like this brightness thing, but it seems more of like a deterrent. Like and I want this to be more positive, like reaching out. So let's take our arm and adjust that. Grab your fingertip here. No. I don't want all of you to move. I hate that this thing changes. Okay, he's kind of like this. I need him to just like that. He needs to pull the shoulder in. Ah! There we go. Oh, very Shakespearean. Okay. Let's make a monad. You can't make a monad. Really. But in here, we're gonna make a monad. A monad is a dimensionless point. So it's kind of funny to me to try to visually express what, like, a monad is a dimensionless point. And I think it's really interesting, and I think it's really cool. I've noticed, like, it's often we immediately kind of envision this tiny little glowing little ball. Just this little... Now we're in an avatar. Sitting in a pineal gland. I don't know. Maybe. That's how I imagine it. Make a photon. Fuck photons. Photons make me angry. Quantum mechanics and everything make me... Especially from a Hyperion viewpoint. I mean, it's like, why there's so many nothing? Okay. Tiny rant over. Great job, Megan. You enraged us all. Now we're gonna make a photon. Okay, so create. Let's see, primitive. Sphere. Oh. Ooh. Our moonhead is way too big. Alright, let's link that up. Get that over. And yeah, we're done. No. And tiny, thank God we have this thing here. We would not. No. You really have to be, like, super precise with this thing. Okay. What's going on with this hand here? You know what, for right now, I'm just gonna get rid of our floor, because it's a little distracting. Okay, so we got a tiny little monad. Monad. It's a habit, leave me alone. Monad. Monad, people. At least I say Hyperion instead of Hyperion. Like so many motherfuckers do. If there's one thing that I'm kind of really particular on, it's hand position. And I think it comes from having some experience in ballet and just learning, like, hand positions in ballet. I like very, very delicate hand positions. In some of my experimental films, it's a lot of me just voguing, essentially, but I like hands. Do I like that? It's a little too much. No. don't really turn. You do have some very little turning radius in fingers, but I can't really get that here. There we go. Wow. This monad does need to glow. We are light. So there's that. Needs to be smaller. Smooth. There we go. Oh, it's cute. Just before the avatar and monad unite. Obviously, that's like more cellular, you know, conception and stuff, but imagine this being like sort of a physical, or just like an art, I mean, not physical, artistic representation of that. It's so shiny. Like, it takes a while for the high definition of it to catch up, but you can see when I'm moving around, like, that's pretty dang cool. Alright, let me check on you guys. Let's see. Gina says, I always imagine the people who say Hyperion as looking like the dude in the Stonks meme. Hyperion! Can you make that meme, please? That'd be wonderful. Hey, thank you so much for coming by, Dennis. That means a lot. You have a good night. Okay. So, back to the thinking about death and monads and stuff. Right, so I'm thinking, like, it'd be cool to know enough of your previous self and bring it into your new life, even though you're, like, an entirely new persona. Surely there should be just a little bit of that information from your previous life, you know, to keep you on the path. Like, maybe you were really good, like, at physics or something, or like you're a really profound scientist or something, and it would be super beneficial if you could carry on and pick up that work again yourself in your next life, but not so much worry about the personality traits and the other details of that previous life, but just the parts that would be important for helping you evolve. Our personas and memories are wiped, so how much info do we really need before it's clinically overwhelming, okay? Because our brains are filtering out a lot of our past lives. There's a lot of that information that's not necessary for us to survive. so clinically overwhelming. Would we, at that point, if when we develop this new culture, would we have new psychological challenges as a collective? Like, would we have somebody who becomes so catastrophically obsessed with their past life, like it's a whole new like psychosis or just psychological diagnosis? And like, how would we face those problems? Because, you know, even though there'll be a new world order, doesn't mean we won't face challenges and problems as a collective. So that's really interesting. Think about that. Like, what if, like, yeah. Oh, let's see. What was this question? Oh, would old relationships be rekindled or lost and complicated in your next life? Like, would you want to pick some like a relationship back up? Like, if you had a romantic relationship with somebody, or would things be so like different? Like, it would be such a strain to you know carry that on, and with family members too. So here's a question for you guys. If you were allowed only a few words, let's say like 5 to 10 words, if you were only allowed 5 to 10 words to say to yourself in your next life, what would it be? What is 5 to 10 words you would say to yourself in your next life? And that's the only thing your next your next life, you know, when you're in that lifetime, that's the only thing you get to know about your previous self. Like, what would you say to yourself? Let's go back to our skeleton. Because I like this. I think it's pretty much done. I was thinking of like a mini series. I think I'll do some more. But I like this. It's a skeleton in the darkness. Skeleton in the darkness. I'm going to putz him with the light. Yeah, I like that. I'm not quite looking at it though. I mean, he's kind of. I mean, I guess he could if he had look balls and his look balls were looking over. But when you're a skeleton, you can't really. Oh, maybe. Oh, I like that angle. Sometimes it takes the tiniest little angle adjustment. Not sure about that little bird wing there. Maybe we can. Okay, first let's save our spot. Copy the view. See what's going on with his arm here. Go back to our camera. okay, I like that. It's more of a, hey, very welcoming, maybe. Oh, I don't know. It's hard to say. I just didn't quite appreciate the chicken leg. If I mumble, tell me to stop. Where are you guys? Let's see. Morik says, great question. Yeah, I think that's... What would I say to my future self? Oh... I guess... I don't know the precise words, but I think if I was to give a message, it would be something along the lines of, you know, really, like, pursuing something creative. Like, just sort of giving myself the hint, like, I've got a lot of power and creativity, and perhaps my future persona will express that creativity in a much different way than I would now. I think it would benefit to know that, hey, there's I think there's a monadic inherency of being really good at creating stuff. Just a little, just a reflection of just like, there is some sort of consistency, like very tiny consistency, in person, maybe a small trait about yourself for the next one. But I think letting my future persona know to explore creativity would be my main message, I think. And if I had a little bit of room to not worry about what happened to me in this life, that's what I would want my future persona to, like, not worry about, like, what happened to me, like, you know, in my life experiences and stuff. I wouldn't want them to have to answer. I'm talking about it like it's a completely separate person, but, you know, when you're a whole new persona, you will. But, like, I wouldn't want to worry about that. I would want to kind of, like, keep progressing, not have to answer for past, you know, life, like, the subjective stuff that's not really going to help me in the long run. Okay, back to the skeleton. Oh, wait, let's look at my notes, because I think there's just a couple things. Yeah, okay, so here's another question. The first question was, if you were allowed only a few words to say to yourself in the next life, what would they be? Here's the other part of that question. If your past self had anything they wished they could say to you, you know, then, like, what do you think they would say? So, like, what if my past life, if me in my past life had anything to convey to me now, what do I think that would have been? I don't know. That's an even like, it goes both ways, right? Like, that's so interesting. And then last questions, I think it would be cool to think about is, like, would we stay in the same bloodline of avatars? Would we by chance be our own ancestors? Like, kind of get hooked on the genetics of the avatar and use that as, like, sort of a way to, like, come back in and, like, pick back up a little bit. Like, could we be our own ancestors? Like, would my great-great-great-great-granddaughter, if I procreated, would they give birth to me again? Where? I don't know. So yeah, those are the kind of questions I have. That one's kind of more, like, going off on that. Like, that could almost be, like, a whole, like, different thing. But the two I think is interesting to think about is, if you were allowed only a few words to say to yourself in the next life, what would they be? And if there was something you in your past life would have said to you now, what would it have been? I think I want... come back here. So this is... No. There we go. I want the luminance to be just a little... Okay, a lot more. Shiny! Glowy! Okay, back to my render settings, because I'm gonna fix this up a little bit. And I think we're good to go. I was gonna add more skeletons, but I like how this turned out, especially because it kind of correlates with the subject more. That's kind of hoping how I was, or that's how I was hoping these live streams would go, more or less. It's just kind of whatever art we make sort of is centered around what we talk about. Because when I make, especially when I make Hyperion themed art, there's a point to it, even if it's something extremely simple. There's something to convey, like this. It's a skeleton and a glowy dot. Okay, that could mean anything to anybody, but for Hyperions, it's like, here's an artistic expression of monad coming back and reincarnating again, and like just a relationship with a body, the avatar, which is just a skeleton, it's just a shell. If anybody, wanted to create Hyperion art, you really don't need to just stick to the hardcore symbology, like the tri-skill all the time. You can take a really simple concept and demonstrate your understanding of that through artistic expression. I need to pull this out more. I love this program, but there's this whole technical side of things. Crank that saturation. Yeah, baby. You like how that sparkles? You like that? I like that. If I had one thought about my previous life, because I was born in 1988, and I'm pretty sure I came back in fairly soon. If there's anything I could confidently guess about my previous life, is that I think I'm pretty positive I was big into some sort of dance and music scene. I can only imagine disco, because I'll tell you what, and I will say this, I've come across a lot of old disco songs that I have not heard before, but I know them. That's all I'm going to say. That's why I like disco. Okay. So let's see. Let's do test render. Because I like this. And I'll make a print available for this too. In case anybody is ever interested. Alright, so that's going to take a little minute. While that happens, let me pop back in here and say hello. No one's saying anything. That's okay. Alright. So depending on the size and the level of quality I render this at, depends on how long it could take, because I could reset the settings and this image would take like 5 hours to render, and it could be like super like crisp, clean, like the size that you could print out and put on the face of a building. Or I could do little poster size. So right now I'm just doing a little small size. I might have to up the quality. I might have to do it again and up the quality a little more because it'll get a little too pixelated if you bring it down too much, the quality. But you don't always need perfectly clear quality. Like, unless somebody's like zooming in into like a tiny portion of your picture, which that would be weird if they're like, hey, look at these scrappy pixels. Like, that would be weird. So, I mean, there is some leniency there, but I am also a perfectionist. And I've been experimenting a lot and putting out a lot of stuff that I'm like, normally I would be like, you know, with my YouTube videos and stuff, normally I would be a perfectionist about that and not even dare like release the shit I've been doing. But there's another aspect of me that's like, if you don't just start getting stuff out, you'll never like learn stuff and grow along the way. So at one point when I started out with this DAZ studio, I was really bad at this program. But now I think I'm okay. Camera at 94, 95, 96. 97, 98, 99. 100. Okay, so that's a little grainy. That's not bad. I think I'm going to do a little bit higher quality than that. But I can do that. You guys don't need to stick around for that. That's pretty much all I have for this week. Next week, I have no plans. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what I come up with. It might just, maybe we'll just wing it. I don't know. But I think that will conclude. Hold on. It's my roommate. They don't want to be seen. Go this way. I don't care if they're seen. They don't want to be seen.
What's going on?
I'm live streaming. What was it? Oh, yeah. Okay, so go to my Patreon. Okay, I've got a Patreon. I've got a new project on there. It's a music project, but I don't sing in it at all. It's kind of like my first, experimental, I want to say like classic, no, not classical. It's just, there's no words and there's no singing in it. It's just all pure composition. There we go. Sorry. Anyway, so go check it out. Anyways, I will announce the next topic on Saturday, and we will see you next week, my friends. Stay awake out there, dreamers. FK out.